Hello and welcome to another conversation on the English in Brazil channel. This is a very special one, right? Look where we are. Where are we, Deborah?
We're in a cozy cabin in Lake Big Bear in California.
Yeah, people think that there's no winter in California, but yeah, there is, right?
Yeah, up in the mountains, there's some winter and it snows a lot, actually. And it's a great place for us to spend some time during Christmas and enjoying some cozy weather, having some hot chocolate.
Yeah, e essa conversa vai ser, é claro, 100% em inglês, do jeito que vocês gostam. A Débora é brasileira também, mas olha que sotaque maravilhoso que ela tem. Ela vai contar como ela aprendeu inglês também. E a gente vai falar sobre as diferenças entre Brasil e Estados Unidos. Assim, vocês aprendem um pouco mais sobre os dois países, essas comparações entre os dois países, enquanto praticam o listening. E durante todo o vídeo vão aparecer perguntas aí na tela para você ir testando a sua compreensão. Você pode ativar as legendas em inglês aqui também para te ajudar. E a resposta das perguntas está no comentário fixado, tá bom? So, Deborah, you have already been mentioned on the channel. Yeah, I made a video with your husband, Diogo. He's also a biologist because you are a biologist too, right?
Yeah.
So tell us about your academic background.
So we met in college, back in college. I had a master's in plant physiology. I did biology, and then right after I finished my college, I started a master's in plant physiology. Even though I'm not in academia anymore, I still work with something related to biology, even though now I'm working in regulatory affairs, which means that basically working on the computer, dealing with regulations, legislations, but it's all related to biology in agronomy, actually, in agriculture.
And you moved here to the US because of Diogo's job. So what was it like for you to make this change?
I was working from home when we left Brazil, and I had the great opportunity of still being able to work from home while I was in here. I got a chance to keep looking for new opportunities, and it was great. It was actually great for my career, where I could find a very good position in a company that I truly admire, that I know that they're doing a great job, and it's also in my field of expertise. And the cool thing is that it's in a company that works with agricultural products. Since Brazil is a great country for agricultural products, I have a chance to be the bridge between the US and Brazil as well.
Wow, this is so cool. And I think this was only possible because you speak English, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about how you've learned the language, because you speak English very well.
Thank you.
How was your English before coming to the US? And do you think it has improved, or is it still the same because it was already good?
Yeah, it definitely improved for sure. But I feel like even before, I had a very good English. I feel like English has helped me a lot in my career. So I always had the opportunity of working with foreign people or doing business in other countries because I had a good English. But of course, once I moved in and I was fully immersed into the culture, into people speaking English the whole time, it improved a lot. I think that my listening was improved greatly, and also my vocabulary for sure. And I was also learning new verbs, new phrasal verbs.
Can you think of an example, something you've learned here?
Yeah, let me think. There's one expression that I really like. It's called, it says like, when you're going to a rabbit hole. It means that when you're going somewhere, it's going to be too complicated and you don't want to overcomplicate things. So, for example, you are doing something and you want to avoid go deeper into that, then you're going to say, oh, I don't want to go into that rabbit hole.
That's interesting. And what about that word, caveat?
Caveat. Yeah.
Did you learn this word here?
Yeah, I did. It's a word that I actually use a lot. So
yeah, she's used this word while talking to me, and I was like, I'm not sure if I know the meaning of this word. And she explained the meaning of this word to me.
Yeah, so caveat, it's almost like a exception.
You can translate.
Okay,
Let's
so é uma ressalva.
Uma ressalva.
Yeah.
Give us an example in a sentence.
I love living in the US with the caveat that I really miss Brazilian food.
That was one of my questions. That would be one of my
Yeah.
questions. So what do you miss the most?
Of course, apart from family and friends, that's top thing that we miss. Food is a really hard thing for us to be able to adjust while we're here.
So what are the main differences between the food you have here in the USA and the food we have back in Brazil?
So, you know, when you're eating in a restaurant in Brazil, the food feels comfortable and it feels cozy
and fresh, right?
Fresh. And you really enjoy eating that. I don't really have that in here. I couldn't find a restaurant that would say, oh, I really love eating it here. So yeah, I think that freshness is the most different thing between restaurants in US and here.
Pausa rápida aqui na nossa Conversation in English para te lembrar que se você quiser falar inglês tão bem como a Débora, você precisa de muita prática e imersão direcionada. E tudo isso a gente oferece no English in Brazil, que é um sistema de ensino que integra 3 pilares fundamentais que eu chamo de Language Foundations, que vão fazer você avançar no seu inglês de forma muito mais rápida e eficiente. Se você quiser fazer parte da nossa próxima turma, é só tocar aqui no link e você vai saber tudo que a gente te oferece, as nossas aulas gravadas, aulas ao vivo, aulas de conversação particulares e outros presentes que a gente sempre prepara para você. Então toca aqui no link e eu te espero em aula, hein? And what was the hardest part of starting over in a new country?
It's a lot because it's a completely new thing, new culture, new procedures, new how people deal with life. So when we first moved in, we had to learn how the education system worked and how everything worked. So it was really our cell phones, how we would get a cell phone here. What is a good company for a cell phone or internet? So it was dealing with a lot of new things and learning how things work in the US. So when we were in Brazil, we know how the system works. When we moved here, we had to learn how we should go to see a doctor, how we could find a good doctor for us and where to look for it. It was really challenging.
I can imagine because I've been here for a week now and I feel lost. I mean, sometimes, for example, even going to a restaurant, you have the tipping system. How does it work? How much should I give? How much should I tip? Where should I go? And it's funny because people seem to know everything and you're the only one lost. Okay.
Yeah.
We feel a little, I don't know, lost. I think the word is lost.
Yeah, it's lost. It's like, or when you're going to a supermarket, what brands are good? What you're gonna like?
What's the best butter brand for you here?
Oh, really? You're asking?
Yeah, I'm asking because some Brazilians might travel to the USA, so you can.
What is it
you
called?
can help them.
Não lembro o nome agora.
Okay,
It's Irish.
It's an Irish brand that we like. But it was hard to find because we had to try lots of different butters until we could find one that was maybe similar to what we had in Brazil or it was
it's funny
better
because
for us.
Diogo said, can you taste how amazing this butter is? And it's like, okay, it's good, but for me, it's just normal. And he said, okay, it's just because the other ones are bad. And we're used to having good butter in Brazil. That's why I asked about
butter. We took it for granted just to have a good butter. It's not as simple.
And you were talking about the health system. Many Brazilians would say, well, we don't have SUS in other countries. Do they have anything? I know they don't have SUS here, but do they have anything that's similar to SUS? So SUS. So what if you are sick and something happens to you? Will you be in debt forever if you don't have money? Or do they have any public health system for people who can't afford to pay?
It's a tough question.
Well, you don't need to. Well, this is just your perspective. You don't need to give the right answer.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong.
For us, I think that we're in a bubble or under our perspective. We have a health insurance. So for us, it was learning how it worked. So we only have to pay for our appointment. So it's about $10 an appointment. And then they'll follow up with the doctor. They will prescribe our medicine. Or if we have to do any type of exams, they're going to follow up with that. And we will only pay for our initial appointment. So for us, of course, there's a huge difference between how things work in both countries, but financially we cannot see the difference. But of course, this is our perspective because we can have health insurance from our jobs. Yeah,
we were talking about these differences between the two health systems. And have you ever had an appointment with a doctor? Did you feel a difference?
Yeah, it was different. And I feel like we've been here for 3 years. I don't feel like I had the time to really make the best out of it. But I feel like it's different, meaning that they will not do as many exams, preventive exams with us. They will just medicate in case there's no other option. It's different from what we felt in Brazil.
And what were the biggest cultural differences you noticed in everyday life?
There are several. And I think the most remarkable characteristics of Americans is that they're very practical. Their cleaning products, they're amazing. They work
I love the smell.
Yeah, and they work so well. They have all these machines that will help us at home, like the dishwasher, all very powerful vacuum cleaners. So they're very practical. But on the other hand, they are very practical with things that I feel like it's too much. For example, in birthday parties, their birthday parties, they have a time to start and a time to end. They would just do pizza and bagged candies, and that would be all. There's no brigadeiro, there's no coxinha.
What about balloons? Would they have balloons for the kids?
Not a lot of decorations. They would just buy like ready, store-bought decorations. That's it.
And what about your kids' birthday parties? Do you decorate like as a Brazilian or as an American now? Are you becoming practical American?
I'm kind of a hybrid. I do enjoy a lot doing the decorations.
I know you. That's why I asked this question.
Yeah. I get a little frustrated after a long time preparing everything, and the party will only last 2 or 3 hours. So it's kind of frustrating. I really enjoy having people around and having both celebrating our birthdays and our kids' birthday. It feels a little sad that they would leave only after 2 hours. I try to be a little bit more practical so that Americans that are in our parties, they won't feel it's too weird. I would always make some brigadeiro. I would have a nice cake and a little decoration as well.
And what about kissing, touching, hugging, being loud? Do you think it is different?
It is super different. Yeah. Still speaking about the birthdays, or when they're singing happy birthday, it's very calm and neutral. When we as Brazilians, we are singing happy birthday, we're clapping and we're cheering. We're actually making it a happy birthday.
We even compliment the birthday song. We say, happy, go, será. So I love our birthday parties. Actually, we were together. We went to an IHOP together a couple of days ago, and they had a kind of a Mexican birthday party there, and it was very, very exciting too.
It sounded more like a Brazilian one.
Yeah. And what about making friends? Is it hard?
Well, I think making friends as an adult is even harder. Now that when we moved in, we didn't know anyone, and it was a fresh start, and it was kind of hard. And I feel like the friends that we've made so far, they were parents of our kids' friends. So we had something in common that was our kids, and we started to hang out. And then we realized that we had things in common, that we enjoyed each other's company, so that we became friends with time. But it's pretty hard. And I feel like the friends that we made here, they are in a similar situations as we are, or they're either immigrants as well, or they don't have a family around. That's something that we have in common, so it's easier for us to bond.
Yeah, so we are in Big Bear Lake, but you live in San Diego, right?
Right.
Do they have lots of immigrants there in your area? Or
Yeah. So really, our neighborhood, there's a lot of immigrants and a lot of different cultures. But I think that in California in general, there's a lot of people from different parts of the world. So it's a big mixture of different cultures, different people in general. So it's very interesting. It's a nice place for kids to grow and for us to be around so many different cultures.
And do you think it's cheaper to live here or more expensive? I know we would have to consider the currencies, but I mean, considering your salary and the things you buy here, do you think it's easier to buy stuff here than in Brazil?
Yes. I do, actually. Of course, I'm not converting currencies and just comparing with our salaries. And I feel like for us to buy a big thing like a car, it's much easier to buy that in here rather than in Brazil. But for some other things, I feel like it's the same.
Is there anything that's more expensive here? Meat, for example? Do you think it's more expensive here?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Groceries.
Yeah, I know, it's your husband. Do you think it's more expensive here?
Yeah.
Você acha que é mais caro?
Tu achou que a carne é mais cara aqui?
Mercado?
Sim. Carne.
É. Tem algum... O que é mais caro aqui?
Comida em geral é mais caro que no Brasil.
Você acha?
I think eating out is more expensive here because of the tip, you know. Of course, we always tip because that's the culture here.
Yeah.
But I think it's more expensive. Maybe because I'm converting all the time. So maybe that.
But at the same, if you're not converting, just thinking money and money, like I cannot think of a dish you can buy for 20 reais anymore.
20 reais?
You cannot eat with 20 reais.
You can. Uma coxinha, uma coca. Of course,
like a dish, like
a dish. Okay, a proper
For lunch.
dish. Yeah, some all-you-can-eat buffets. If you don't eat that much, maybe.
Yeah. But here with $20, you can eat a nice dish.
Yeah, but $20 is expensive for me because I'm converting.
Yeah, so
but
without
not for you.
converting. Yeah,
Not for
without
you.
converting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, you said that Americans are very practical, and I agree. But do you think, tricky question here, do you think they are environmentally conscious? And I'm asking this because from my perspective, I don't think so, because I think there's a lot of water waste because everybody uses dishwashers all the time and dryers. So there's machines everywhere. They don't air dry their clothes or their dishes. And this is something we are used to doing in Brazil. And also there's a lot of plastic. And I think it's very cool when you go to the supermarket and you see all those colorful packages. But at the same time, I think, oh my God, that's a lot of plastic and a lot of paper. So what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think that environmentally consciousness is something that it's on the top of their mind. I think that they're very practical. For dishwasher, I think that dishwasher is something that would actually save water, but they just do it because it's more practical than, doing your own dishes.
Did you have a dishwasher back in Brazil?
No, I didn't.
And nowadays I see that you use it all the time.
It comes with our house. With most of houses, it would come with dishwasher.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm asking this because I'm staying at our house now. I start washing something, like washing with my hands. She said, no, use the dishwasher. Okay, but I just want to wash it. It's just a spoon and a fork.
Yeah, and our dishwasher is like huge. You can put pans in it, pots, and it fits. I don't know.
But you gotta have more plates. You gotta have more plates and more cutlery because you will keep them in the dishwasher.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you gotta have extra.
Yeah, not a lot actually. We just
she's becoming an American. So let's talk about your children. How was the adaptation process when they moved from Brazil to the USA? Let's talk about the school system too. What are the main differences?
Okay, so when we moved in, Nick, he was 4 and Leo was 1.5. They couldn't speak English. They were starting school, especially Nick, he was starting school. So we had to find a school for him and we found a great one. It was they were very gentle with helping us adjusting him. But compared to how it happens in Brazil, it was just like, you're going to drop your kid off and then he's going to cry, but he's going to be fine. I feel like in Brazil, we had a chance to just stay a little bit longer and help
longer adaptation process.
Yeah. It was really hard at first. So, of course, he cried a lot and I cried a lot and it was really hard. But after a month, he had already adjusted. He could already start communicating his basic needs. I don't know, maybe within 6 months, he was already fluent. He had already his friends. He was doing great. And now he started to cry because he didn't want to leave the school. It was, of course, I would say that the first month, it was really hard. It was terrible. And we were all adjusting with the changes and with the new country.
A new house, new
A
country.
house,
Oh my God.
new language, and we're homesick and we're missing everyone, and it was really hard. But after that, they adjusted really, really well.
And now he has many friends. But do his friends come over to your house or never? Is this a Brazilian thing?
Maybe.
Yeah.
They've never come to your house. Actually, they have. Yeah, we have a few play dates, actually.
Mhm.
Yeah. But I think he's kind of young for play dates in our place. We do lots of play dates in the parks, or we go somewhere. It's a little bit different than
And you've just said play date, and this is a word that we use in the kids environment, right?
Mhm.
And what other words have you learned here? For example, you've mentioned pula-pula, não do trampoline, o pula-pula
Bounce
de
house.
bounce house. That's
Yeah.
another word. So you know all this vocabulary nowadays, right? Bounce house.
And there's another one that actually Nick taught me how to say that. It's amarelinha. Nick, como fala amarelinha? How do you say amarelinha? Hopscotch.
Hopscotch.
So,
And he taught me another word today. I'm looking at him right now. And he's taught me how to say, oh my God, he taught me and I forgot. Wait, it's about the rock. Rock skipping. Rock skip, you know, when you do this, you throw the rock on the lake and you see it doing this. Tuk, 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 tuk. So it has a name and it's rock skip. Thank you, Nick, for teaching me another word.
so they teach us a lot. So his English has improved so much. He's teaching me how new words and how to pronounce words. Now he's starting to read. It's amazing.
And what about motoca?
Oh, it's a tricycle.
Tricycle. Yeah, because I remember once I wanted to say motinho, motoca, and how do you say this in English? It's tricycle.
Yeah.
And then you see the translation, it's actually easy, right?
Mhm.
Tricycle, triciclo. But if you're thinking about motoca, not that easy.
It doesn't sound as fun.
I prefer motoca.
Me too.
Motoquinha. And speaking of the school system here, do you feel any differences regarding the relationship between the teachers and the students, or do you think it's just the same as we have in Brazil?
Now they are going to the public school, so which is a great thing for us. It's a school pretty close to our house. We can actually compare because they didn't have something similar back when we were in Brazil, but we actually like it. They have their teachers, and we can communicate through an app. We can send each other a text. They would send some pictures sometimes. It's a very nice relationship, but it's definitely not as warm as a Brazilian person, a Brazilian teacher that would hug them whenever they need. They would be more warm.
And now one last question. I know this conversation is so good, but I have one last question, and I think it's a little bit deeper. How has living in the USA changed the way you see Brazil?
Wow.
If it has.
It has changed a lot. When I was in Brazil, I took everything for granted. That's my life. Once we moved, that's when you could actually value what we had. So silly things like food, how you can so easily make a friend or interact with someone without thinking if I'm using the correct words or if I'm doing something inappropriate, if I'm touching them too much or at all.
If I'm being too loud, if I'm being too warm.
Yeah, so you know the norms, or when you're in a restaurant, is it acceptable to have your kids just speaking a little bit more loud? It's really different to feel that you know how to behave somewhere and learn how to behave in another place. Maybe I think I switched my answer.
And now em português, o que você diria para brasileiros que pensam em morar nos Estados Unidos e que talvez pensem que é sempre tudo melhor do que o Brasil? E eu não tô aqui para influenciar a tua resposta não, tá? Mas o que você acha dessa minha pergunta? O que você diria?
A gente teve muita sorte de se dar muito bem. A gente está muito feliz aqui, a gente tem ótimas oportunidades para nós, para nossa profissão, para os nossos filhos. A gente gosta muito de estar aqui. Mas ao mesmo tempo a gente também sente muita falta, a gente também gosta e depois de estar aqui a gente percebe tanto de coisa boa que a gente tem no Brasil também. É uma decisão muito pessoal, caso a caso, basic pros and cons, que claro, existem pros and cons nos dois países, e hoje eu diria que eu não pertenço a nenhum dos dois lugares, mas se eu vou para o Brasil, eu sinto muita falta do que eu tenho aqui nos Estados Unidos, e estando aqui nos Estados Unidos, eu sinto muita falta de muita coisa que eu tinha no Brasil.
E com esta reflexão, a gente encerra esse vídeo. Eu quero saber o quanto você conseguiu entender dessa nossa conversa de 0 a 10. Deixa aqui nos comentários, deixa um comentário para a Débora também, coisas interessantes que você escutou dessa conversa, o que te chamou mais atenção, e envia aí para os seus amigos que querem conhecer um pouco mais sobre as diferenças entre os dois países também. Débora, nossa, teu inglês, it sounds like music to my ears. E eu achei uma pequena mudança de voz agora. As pessoas falam que eu mudo de voz, agora eu senti. Quando tu veio pro português, eu falei, vocês notaram? Me fala aqui nos comentários também. Gostou do teu vídeo no YouTube? Is it your first time on YouTube?
It's my first time on YouTube.
Be kind nos comentários. Yeah. Um beijo, Débora, obrigada, e um beijo pra você. See you next video. Não gravou. É o meu maior pânico.